Hello, my name is Ragnar. I'm a front-end engineer on fulfillment. I'm recording here from sunny Copenhagen. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about what the front-end looks like for the custom portal and what the custom portal actually is. The intended audience are some of our new team members. Welcome to the team. And anybody else who thinks this would be interesting. I've got a agenda here, what it is we're going to go through, and hopefully we're going to get through this quickly and efficiently. So just talk about what the custom portal is. If you hit gitlab.org and hit customers.gitlab.com, you'll note that this is a separate project. So this lives outside of the main GitLab monolith. This is a standard, as far as standard goes, Rails app. And we're following quite a lot of the same structure that the main GitLab org also does. So this means that this project here, if you hit customers.gitlab.com, then you're going to be served a separate Rails app, which is this customer portal. The custom portal does a lot of things. I want to highlight 4 here, but it does a lot more things. It syncs purchases both to gitlab.com, but also to self-managed instances of GitLab. So this would be a subscription to gitlab.com, which would be a bronze plan, for example, but also providing licenses to self-managed. So that would be a ultimate license, for example. And then we have these add-ons like a CI minute purchase, which is gitlab.com projects can run on GitLab's shared runners, and then they can purchase extra minutes here. We do this by interfacing with some of our third-party integrations. Yeah. Zuora, our payment provider, and Salesforce, which we use to generate leads and things like that. On the front end, users can log in and they can see their existing purchases. Pretty standard, but a crucial part of custom portals. And also, we want to allow users to purchase, so self-serve buy our products. And this is what we're going to be looking at here today. Just to give a small history on this, the fulfillment front-end team started like a year and a half ago, I think. I joined about a year ago. And we have, and at that time it was HAML views and then some CoffeeScript to add interactivity to this, to the pages that needed interactivity. This lives in app assets. That's some of our legacy code, we call it, but it's still being used. It's been converted to ECMAScript, but it's still here, and we build new features in app front end. So that lives down here. And if we dig far enough down, we are going to start seeing .u extensions, right? So we are in the process of migrating from HAML to Vue. That means that we're also doing the HAML bootstrapping, which, if you're familiar with the main GitLab repo, you've seen this before. We're using the front-end docs from the main GitLab repo. We follow those so that we can get new team members and not have everything be totally alien. And this goes into good detail on how you do these things and some of the gotchas. But we're hoping to make things better in the future. So we're going to be migrating some of these things to GraphqL. This was opened by Vitaly, who's also on the fulfillment front-end team member of mine. And we want to migrate these things to GraphQL, both because it's going to give a nicer experience rather than waiting on the page to load and then rendering everything. We can do some client-side requests and show some fancy loading spinners. But we're also going to be able to move some of these flows into GitLab.com itself. So instead of me jumping from GitLab.com to customers.gitlab.com, I should also spell it correctly. I don't have to like leave the main app to do some of these purchases. And this is actually being spearheaded by another growth team. So we also do a bit of collaboration with growth teams, which is good because everybody on growth are super nice. So that's definitely a highlight. So that's a bit of like where we want to go and some of the initiatives that we have. But let's talk about what we have today. So, like I said, these transaction components are simple. We're taking data from a Rails controller and we're rendering it. There's not a lot of interactivity. There's some client requests, and some loading spinners and small stuff like that, but nothing like crazy interactively. And our architecture also reflects this. We do not have UX on the front end, but of course, if we have a good use case for adding it, then we're gonna add it. But yeah, a tricky thing here. That's the communication with Zuora. How we go from the front end to the Rails controller to Zuora to getting a webhook callback to feeding that into the front end. There's a bit of like back and forth, but I think we have like a decent, we wrap this pretty well in. Why are we making things so complicated? Well, so we want to follow PCI compliance and we don't want credit card information in our system. That's a big problem to fix. And in this day and age, it makes sense to pay other companies to solve this problem for us. So we have Zuora, our payment provider. Sure. Let's go a little bit into how the data goes from, the user hits a URL to how it's loaded and all that. And if you're familiar with the main GitLab project, this should hopefully look kind of familiar. That's the word. So I've got the custom folder running here locally. Right here, spits out a lot of stuff, but nothing like too crazy. Standard Rails, we've got a subscriptions endpoint, so we know that we have a subscriptions controller that we can hit. We're hitting the bear path, so that would be index. Yeah, okay, I already had that going right here. We're gonna load some subscriptions. That goes like way down here. Subscriptions finder, and you see these set underscore prefixes, and that's when we're digging into some of the Zuora data. So so this load subscriptions actually makes a call to Zuora to load all of this. Good. We go back to the app. We just find the correct browser here. And we see the view. We see that we have two view apps here. Again, if you're familiar with the main GitLab repo, you'll know that this is like fairly standard. Like booting up a view app doesn't take a lot. We have a subscription list here with a total of 1. So poor man's list, I guess. But yeah, you see that what's being highlighted here, that's basically the entire page, right? What we want to look at now is we want to actually buy some more minutes. This flow here. It's very important that it doesn't break, because if users do decide that they want to purchase some more products, they shouldn't be blocked on giving us money. That's ridiculous. So astute people will see that I'm getting some console errors here. And this is because this wants to hit localhost, but I'm actually on a reverse proxy. You don't always need to have the reverse proxy running, but because we want callbacks from Zuora, then we need to have the reverse proxy so that they can find me, right? So again, the whole page actually here, that's just a view. So how are we actually bootstrapping this? We are on subscriptions new, so we can go to the subscriptions controller, and we can go to, oops, that was the wrong one. And we can go to new, that was what it's called, right? In subscriptions controller. It's loading a transaction viewer, and I happen to know that we prefix some of these things with the template name here. So just to make this a little bit shorter, new add-on, which doesn't do a lot. It renders a partial here. Maybe this is a bit too much interaction. Feel free to fix this. Everybody can contribute. And here we have the HAML handover here, right? So this is the Rails controller putting data on the HTML, and then we have page-specific bundles in the custom portal as well. Even though we're not running the exact same Webpacker setup as the main repo, but we maintain our own like Rails Webpacker, which is more standard in the industry, while the main GitLab repo is more customized. But the front-end foundation team is also doing a lot of work there to make things nice. But we need to be able to move fast. And the custom portal is also much smaller in scale. But we do have page-specific bundles. So if we go to our console, and let me just clear these errors here. Page what's it called? Document. My memory, I cannot remember things. Document dot. There we go. Document.body.dataset.page. So we're hitting subscriptions new. Again, Rails magic here. We're hooking into where the file system is located, and hooking it up with, we're loading a file from the file system from a URL, because Rails magic. We can actually see that it's the Webpack helper, I think it's called. Yeah. Which this one does like get page chunks and all that. Read this if you want. It's an interesting read. It's mostly stolen from the main repo, but the main GitLab repo. But this means that with the subscriptions new, we can open a file, subscriptions new.js, right? And note here that this lives under packs. So this gets like magically injected into the page, into the load. So transaction app, we are almost there. Doesn't do the tilde, okay. Init transaction here. Again, a little bit of interaction. And here we go. We pick the props up from the data set. And yeah, we're doing a lot of like parsing here. So we do a lot of parsing on the Rails controller to strings, and then we do a lot of parsing back to JSON and back to Booleans and back to numbers. Again, the bootstrapping gotchas are gonna cover this pretty well. But this means that with this thing here, we boot up a add-on transaction app, which does a lot of things. This does a lot of things. We've got some big components here, but keep in mind that this component here, it's the full page, right? So it's doing a lot of things. Yeah. And I think that's mostly it. And just to show that everything like hooks up, this is rendering an iframe here. Again, you're getting a lot of errors and warnings, but if you go into the DOM, maybe shouldn't have hit that far in, but here we go. This is an iframe pointing to Zuora, right? Which we can add a new credit card. Recognize my name and accept here. And a lot of the interactivity here is that, yeah, we don't want to, we want to ensure the form is correct. We want to ensure that there's quantity. We want to show the proper amount. We don't want to show that it's going to cost $8 and then charge for 10. And yeah, this does quite a lot of thinking, but this is actually doing a transaction in the background, making a callback to the Rails, and then making a callback to the page itself. So we get this fancy little thing here. Back to purchases. This is our main page. And we see that we have 1,000 CI minutes here. And there's like a lot of data integrity things that we need to keep in mind, where we work a lot together with our backenders, in that this CI minute purchase, it needs to be on the same namespace. This is personal namespace. That's why my name is here. This needs to be on the same namespace, same subscription, and Zuora needs to charge for things in the correct manner. I think I've covered most of the things. This is a lot, so ping me, go into fulfillment, go into growth or growth engineering, ask questions. There's a lot going on here.